More and more parents complain nowadays that their supposedly grown-up children don't seem to be interested in making plans for the future. But friends, sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes there's a great deal of desire to work, but no employment options. And as our story shows, it's no reason to give up, since any failure can become the beginning of something great. Clay Lewis from Brisbane, Australia, dreamed of getting a job. At his young age of 16 years old, he didn't want to spend his days behind a computer, so he decided to dedicate his free time to doing something useful. And perhaps everything could have been much simpler, and a teenager would have been able to find a part-time job, if it weren't for one but. The thing is, Clay has autism, which is exactly what made his plan so difficult to implement. Clay is a very responsible, loyal, and diligent person, but since he speaks a little differently, and sometimes his reaction to certain things may seem a little strange, potential employers immediately made unfair assumptions based solely on their first impression. They assume that Clay doesn't really know anything and wouldn't be able to do the work. Every time he went to an interview, his parents were sure that he'd return with yet another rejection. And so it went on for 2 whole years. No one wanted to hire Clay, coming up with new rejection reasons every time. Perhaps someone would have given up, but Clay wasn't like that. His last attempt to get a part-time job in 2018 ended with a fast food restaurant refusing to hire him. This became the point of no return for Clay. He was now facing a much more important question. What is he supposed to do next? It wasn't about getting a part-time job anymore, but rather about Clay's place in this huge world. So his parents got an idea to sit down with Clay and brainstorm his possible future employment options together to figure out what he wanted and could do. One day, Clay surprised his parents at a family meeting by proposing a business idea. Even though it seemed a bit absurd initially, Clay's parents still supported him. That's how Clay's bin cleaning company was born, which provided trash can cleaning services. One might think it was a bad idea, but it's still a job and someone needs to do it. Clay says he thought a lot about what he could do that wouldn't have much competition and wouldn't require financial investment. Since then, Clay has been going around his neighborhood in Brisbane each day after school, offering everyone his garbage bin cleaning services. To his surprise, people were eager to accept his offer. It wasn't very expensive for his potential customers, only $10 for one customer and $5 for each additional one. For a lot of people, it was much easier to pay Clay than to wash their own trash cans. So there were a lot of cans, as each household owned them and they all needed to be kept clean. Sure, it wasn't an easy job, especially in the summer. It was very hard at first since, as you probably know, the trash cans smell bad and have many flies and other insects in them. And for Clay, smells are very important, since he's extremely sensitive to them, as well as to light and sounds, all due to his sensory disorder, which many people with autism have. He later came up with a cleaning kit that he used for each job, a mask, gloves, tools, etc., and it became much easier to work. The parents were pleasantly surprised that their son started his own business and was earning money. It meant that when he graduated from high school, he was going to have a small, full, functional business and would be able to lead an independent life. Unfortunately, even in Australia, the unemployment level among the special needs population is incredibly high. Moreover, a job gives most of us the feeling of fulfillment and raises our self-esteem. Predictably, Clay's business venture helped him not only build a good reputation around the neighborhood, but also helped him become more confident. Now he could talk to people with more confidence, negotiate with them, and even take additional orders. Oddly enough, it gave results, and soon Clay's business began to grow. Rumors about his services quickly spread throughout the neighborhood and even the entire city. When the demand grew so much that Clay could no longer keep up with it, the young entrepreneur even began to hire his classmates to share the workload. At first, there were 3 people, but later the number of employees increased to 10, and over time it even exceeded 3 dozen workers. In January 2019, just a year after the launch, Clay's company already had 70 regular customers, including large chains, such as restaurants and other establishments, and the boy's net profit was over $7,000 per month. But it was still far from the end. Despite the fact that Clay had already begun to earn more than his parents, he decided not to stop there and began to expand the client base, covering not only his neighborhood in the city, but also taking orders from the suburbs. In addition to cleaning the bins, the young entrepreneur's company began to offer other services, namely cleaning garbage from adjoining territories, garbage removal including construction, cleaning of access roads, house cleaning services, and even car washing. Basically, the company was ready to provide any cleaning or transportation service requested by the client. As it turned out, the teenager had an entrepreneurial talent. It might be hard to believe, but Clay personally supervises all business matters and negotiates with clients. Even his mother has a part in his work. She deals with correspondence, answers phone calls, and replies to emails. For the amazing results of his work, Clay even got an award from the governor as part of the Creative Futures Project, which is dedicated to the issues that people with autism face. He also doesn't forget to take a break once in a while. For example, he plans on going to Dubai for the Formula One Championship when things get back to normal in the world. He's also interested in cars and has already managed to buy several, including a red Mercedes-Benz, but that's not all. In addition to the fact that Clay can now afford many things, he doesn't forget to encourage his employees. His company also has cars for them to use, such as a Toyota Camry. Clay was even on TV when the young entrepreneur shared his experience and said that no one should ever give up, inspiring other people with and without autism to believe in themselves. Clay also added that absolutely everyone can find their place in this world. He even shared several ideas that, in his opinion, could be very promising. Since family people are usually very busy and spend most of their time at work, they always need help. For example, walking their dogs, or maybe watering their plants, mowing lawns, or cleaning swimming pools. A busy family will be willing to pay for someone to do this work for them, and a business can be built providing these services. Clay himself is now very busy with his work. He has many plans for the future, developing his company and expanding the area where his services are available, as well as introducing new services and products which would be very useful for the busy people of the modern world. Clay's story is probably the best proof that each of us can find our place in the sun if we truly want to. After all, even a boy with autism, who was rejected by all the employers in the city for 2 years, was able to prove this by his own example. Well, that's it for today. Let us know what you think about Clay's business idea and his desire to independently earn a living. Rate this story if you liked it, and we'll see you next time.